two approaches that you can have for this, for starting off with this, is to start with the ER diagram, which we are taught often enough in colleges, that think about how the data is going to be modeled, and then think about how your services are going to consume them. Finally, think about what the clients will be doing to actually call the services. So that kind of thinking is a little too constrained. It's also too abstract because you're thinking about how to model your data without thinking about what do your users need. The second approach is to go from the front to back. That is, think about what your users need as features. Think about how your services are going to actually be broken down so that you can fulfill these features, and then think about their individual data requirements per service. So in that way, your system is far more flexible. It's also a lot easier to start off with the system immediately. So the features that we are picking up in Tinder are storing profiles. In that profile, there are going to be images. That's really important for any dating site. So one thing to remember here is that images will be stored in the profile. A follow-up question can be, so how many images per user do you want? That could be 5. So I'll just note that down. 5 images per user. Is there something else we want to think about images? No. We can move to the next feature that might come up, which is how are we going to recommend matches? Yeah, I had to look into that. But if you think of this in a storyline, what happens is you go to any dating site, you make a profile, and that's how you're thinking about storing profiles. You start accepting or rejecting people based on your preferences. So that would be the recommendation system. That would be some sort of recommending matches. Yeah. In that case, what are the questions you can think of? How many active users do you have is a good question to ask. So number of active users. Is there something else you want to ask? Maybe are there certain countries where there's too much population and stuff? But don't get into too much details. Again, if you're running behind too many questions per feature, that also shows that you're getting into too much detail per feature. So keep it fluffy, keep it flying in the air even now. Then you have the third feature, which is the best one, which is when you match with someone. So if you match with someone, you need to note that down, and you need to do something between the two people. So one of the things you want to do is you want to note down matches, in which case the number of active users is kind of enough. You can take a percentage of that as the number of matches you'll have per day. That's going to be an assumption. I'm going to assume that typical Indian match rates are going to come up here, which is for every swipe, you have a 0.1% of matching with someone. All right, so the number of matches you'll have per person is going to be 0.1%. So that's going to be number of active users into 10 raised to power minus 3 matches. And the fourth one is once you have matched with someone, of course, you need to chat with that person. So there's direct messaging, which will be a feature of Tinder once you guys match. All right. In direct messaging, what kind of questions should you ask? Well, we'll get to that. For now, we have 4 features. Avoid taking too many features because it's going to be an hour-long interview at most, and more often than not, you're going to be getting into the details that the interviewer wants you to get into anyways. You don't need to pull out more and more features just for the sake of showing that you can implement these.